Hello, everyone. My name is Elena Huntley, and I'm a criminal justice here at Sam Houston State University. Today, I'm going to be discussing the social structure theories like the strain theory, the social disorganization theory, and the subcultural theory, and how these theories can be integrated into young people's lives, especially the young men like James and Mustafa, who grew up in neighborhoods that were typically governed by the term the Code of Street. So basically, the Code of Street is basically how respect, toughness, and survival become key values in inner city communities, typically more in poverty. And these areas have a lot of poverty, crime. Those are common. So young people feel like they have to protect themselves through strength or intimidate others just to feel safe, or just to really feel like they have an even playing field with other people in the community. So Robert Merton, he has this strain theory that people are taught to pursue success, pursue wealth, pursue fame, pursue respect, pursue stability. But if you don't have the opportunity to reach these goals like education, good jobs, community support, family support, whatever it may be from, then this is what's called a strain. So James and Mustafa, they grew up in disadvantaged neighborhoods. So this strain, since they don't have access to this strain can really cause them to try to pursue a success in a different way, but not such a good way. So instead of getting like good efforts and good jobs through school or work, they seek it by street culture, like again, following the Code of Street. So violence, toughness, intimidation, all that stuff, and traditional options feel blocked. For example, there are some young people back in Chicago. I was reading an article about it, and basically, young men who are unemployed, who are failing in school, typically just not doing the best they can within their life, they turn to street gangs, they turn to murder, they turn to, rape, all the bad things, because that's where they feel the most power, and their community is not giving them the comfort that they should be, so they turn to that. So now social disorganization is more of a community effort. The theory says that crime and violence are more likely to occur in neighborhoods with like weak social institutions. So poor education, poor school, unstable families, unstable work, and not really a lot of community bonding. So again, using James and Mustafa, if they grow up somewhere where there's little policing, bad schools, no community, none of that, it's difficult to really grow up in place with that and have some sort of stability within their lives. So without that strong support, they have to resort to other ways early on, and again, use the street code for survival because they feel like that's their only option. That's all they know. So basically, if you don't have these things like policing, good jobs, good schools, it loses the structure of the environment, and that leaves these young people to basically create their own rules, and the rules are not in favor of the law or in favor of a good moral compass. And then lastly is the subcultural theory. So this can really be explained how like groups of big gangs, group of young men or young women or both can really be revolved around these values and these norms. So it's basically just subculture saying like basically what it is. Like it's the opposite of normal things that happen in society. So for like James and Mustafa, like them growing up in that subculture that values toughness, respect, intimidation, rather than another culture that revolves around patience, around peace, around hard work, around love, all of that, it can make it hard to really escape that cycle because that's all you know. And even if they did want to live differently, it can be a little hard to get out of that because especially in that type of environment, they can be seen as weak, they can be seen as annoying, they can be seen as just someone that doesn't deserve to live in general. So they don't want to risk their lives even more and just rather would stay in that cycle. So with that being said, when good stability is put into these certain communities, like good schools, good policing, good role models, membership programs, stable housing, better education, it can really turn things around. Not overnight, but it is definitely a better alternative. Yeah. Consistency also really does work well in any situation, including this one. So if there's like after school events, weekly events, whatever it is, giving back, anything works. It can really flip the switch. Not overnight, but gradually over time. So it isn't really about explaining the theory or explaining the behavior. Like to understand the theory, it's also knowing that if you do change these conditions, it can really change lives as well, because some people are not easily able to adjust to certain things, and some people don't want that change. So that's it. Thank you.